And so we're starting down on the floor. So grab your blocks if you have them. I'm going to start off in a wisdom pose, wide leg child's pose. So take the knees as wide as you can. And just come out, have a little jiggle side to side, a little kind of spine flex a couple of times, just to kind of loosen everything up. Maybe a little wiggle around, find a bit of freedom in the spine. And then once you kind of feel like you've relaxed around your hips, etc., walk the hands out. Now you can either stretch the hands out and rest the forehead on the floor, or you can rest one hand on the other and make a little pillow for your head, or maybe even rest the arms down beside you with the forehead on the floor. Whatever works for you. Remember, what works one day may not feel right another day. So I want to find a sense of ease. Now I also appreciate that sometimes having the head on the floor can feel a little bit claustrophobic. So you can always maybe turn the head slightly to one side or find some other way to make it not feel quite so claustrophobic, or rest your head on a block or a cushion so it doesn't feel quite so, because sometimes it can feel like you can't breathe. So find a position that you can find a sense of ease. So ease as opposed to tension. So I want to completely relax mentally, physically. So child pose can be quite nurturing. We tend to just kind of skim through it and just think of it as a, in-between pose, but it can be quite nurturing. It gives the knees and thighs a good stretch. Also helps to relax your inner organs because you're folded in on yourself, and relaxes the muscles alongside the spine. So it's kind of a restorative pose. So once you're in position, just let go. And notice if you are relaxing. Quite often we think we're relaxed and it takes a few breaths for us to completely relax. So winter, I've said this before, winter is a time for conserving energy. If you think of nature, there's a lot going on underneath the soil, although I have noticed things like snowdrops and that starting to come through already. But typically, years ago, when we had a bit more proper seasons, things wouldn't happen until maybe February, March, when things would start to come through the soil. But underneath the soil, think of a bear hibernating. It's conserving energy. It's that deep rest, a bit like putting your phone on charge for a good few months. So this is why I always say that New Year, January is not the time for making big changes. March is the time, hence why we get the urge to do a spring clean, that kind of thing, because that energy is rising. We're still in that phase of kind of resting, restoring, conserving our energy. So it's really not a good time for trying to make massive changes. I don't quite know why. I think it's because it's the 1st of January. We think, oh, New Year, when actually it's really not the best time. So child pose can be a way of kind of imagining that conserving of energy, of resting. Especially nowadays, we're very, we kind of celebrate workaholics. If someone works 20 hours a day and gets by on 1 hour's sleep, we kind of celebrate that. And that's really kind of screwed up if you think about it, and if we do less, we're seen as lazy. So it's okay to totally destroy yourself mentally, physically, etc. But to go a bit easier and go with the flow, that's seen as lazy. We need to switch that around. We really need to switch that around. We have not been granted this life, this beautiful planet, to just be work, and work ourselves into an early grave. Pretty much every workaholic, when they get to their deathbed, wishes they spent more time enjoying life. So we want to kind of reflect that. We want to try and encourage ourselves to accept that it's okay to slow down, because we are nature. We are nature. Nothing in nature is on the go 24/7, 12 months a year. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So one of the reasons we end up getting burnt out, stressed out, miserable, depressed, pissed off, etc., is because we try and keep going, and our bodies just are not designed for that. So we need to learn to enjoy, find a sense of ease, and just slowing down so we can rebalance. Balance is about throughout the whole year. It's not a case of, right, I must do this, and a pie chart that's equally chopped up. It's about the whole year. So this is still the time for restoring. And inner peace begins the moment you choose not to let anyone else's ideas, views, beliefs affect how you feel. So just because other people say, oh, new year, new me, blah, blah, blah. No, you are perfect as you are. It's not time to spring forth just yet. So take another nice deep breath in and let it go. And just starting to make your way back up to a kneeling position. Bring your knees in a little bit. We're going to wiggle our way onto our belly. So you're just going to kind of slide your way through onto your belly, coming into a Sphinx pose. So you're going to bring your elbows underneath your shoulders and just kind of rock the hips a little bit side to side. Nice deep breath in and out. And elbows under the shoulders. Inhale, melt down towards the floor. As you breathe out, imagine filling the body up with energy from your toes up to the crown of your head. So we start off pointing the toes, pressing into the tops of the feet, lifting your kneecaps, lifting your thigh muscles, pressing down into your pubic bone, firming up the belly, and then starting to press into the elbows and drawing your eye gaze forward. So literally as if you're filling up a balloon from your toes right up to the crown of your head, and then melting down to the floor again. So we'll breathe in this time. Inhale again, imagine from your toes, energizing toes, shins, knees, thighs, belly, pressing into elbows, eye gaze forward rather than up. Again, imagine filling right up to the crown of your head, and exhale, melting down as if there's no energy in the body whatsoever. Once more, inhale from your toes, again, energize those legs. Breathe all the way to the crown of the head. And stay here, exhale, relax those shoulders. And maybe take the feet a little bit wider. And you can take the hands further forward if you wish, if there's too strong in your back. You're going to breathe in. As you breathe out, you're going to press into the right arm, straighten that leg. You're going to keep energizing the legs and just looking slightly in that direction. Inhale, bring the elbow back. Exhale, press into the left arm, straightening the left arm, just looking towards that shoulder. And inhale back. So we're straightening one arm and just kind of turning over that shoulder, keeping energy in the body. So you're not kind of collapsing down. We're still keeping energy in the body here. So firm up the thighs, firm up the knees, and releasing. As you straighten the arm, make sure you're not tensing the neck or shoulders. And maybe say looking a little bit further over that leg. Straighten, press the floor away. Keep squeezing your bum muscles. Squeezing your thighs. And we're going to start doing a kind of almost circular movement. And we're going to do that by straightening the right arm, then the left arm, and then bending the right elbow, bending the left elbow. So it's a kind of almost like a wave-like motion. You can allow your head to find its own movement. If you need to take your arms wider or your legs wider, whatever you can do. If it's too strong on your back, take your hands further forward. So again, find a sense of fluidity as opposed to rigidity. And then we're going to change and we're going to go the other way. So we're going to straighten the left arm, right arm, and bend the left, bend the right. Inhaling, squeeze your butt, shoulders away from the ears. And just let the head find its own movement, whatever works for you. It should hopefully feel quite nice on your spine. Then we're going to come down. We're going to bring one hand on top of the other. We're going to rest the chin on the hands. We're going to bring the legs in a little bit. Then we're going to bring that right knee up. You can help along if you need to. Wiggle it up into like a half frog position. Flex that foot. And you can turn your head to look in that direction. Relax your hips and just taking a couple of deep breaths here. Full breath in. Full breath out. And then full breath in. And full breath out. Then release that foot. Bring it down. Lift the head up a little bit. Then take the left arm out to the side, a little bit close to the wall here. Take it out to the side, shoulder height, palm down. Then bring the right hand to the floor and start to roll over onto your side. So you can let that top leg go back behind you. You can maybe bend that knee behind you. Come into like a quad stretch. So stretching out the shoulder on that left side. So if it's too strong to go all the way here, then you can just stay with the leg on the floor or even keep the knee in front of you. Whatever feels good for you today. The wall's actually quite in a good place here because I can rest my foot against the wall here, so I'm getting a bit of a quad stretch at the same time. The most important thing is to relax the shoulder. Make sure you're not tensing the left shoulder. That's quite handy there, having the wall there, because I'm literally resting my foot on the wall. It's getting a good quad stretch. So the wall is a good prop. And gently unwinding and making your way back onto your belly, resting one hand on top of the other again, turning your head to the left and bringing that left knee up. And just relaxing your hips into the floor and a little jiggle. And full breath in. Full breath out. And again, full breath in and out. And gently unwind, loosen that leg, bring that leg down. Open that right arm out to the side. Bring your head to the floor, bring your left hand to the floor. Press to start to roll over. Notice how it feels on this side. So you might not come as far this side, that's okay. You might let the legs relax. You might take that left foot back a little bit as I did the other side. There we go, whatever feels good for you. Although I've got quite tight shoulders, I actually really enjoy this stretch. A lot of people don't. Again, it's probably a Marmite stretch. So wherever you're at is perfect. Full breath in and out. once more, breathing in and breathing out. And gently release. So come out nice and slowly, no rush. Bring yourself back onto your belly. Bring the hands in, either side of your ribs, but just past your chest. So the elbows are tucked in and your thumbs are slightly under your rib cage. Try and bring your chin to the floor. Press your belly into the mat. Bring your feet to knees together. Then slide the knees in towards you so your hips lift off the floor. Tuck your toes under, toes and heels together. So we're in that kind of variation of Astangasana, stretching out the spine, looking towards the tip of the nose. Good. Inhale, firm up the belly, slide the chest towards you, and then see if you can untuck the toes and come all the way back into a kind of child's pose. Take the hands out a little bit wider, roll the shoulders away from the ears, tuck your toes under, separate your knees and feet. So we're going to come into a down face dog. Ears in alignment with the arms, relax shoulders, press into the feet and start to lift your hips. We're pedaling out the feet, turning the hips side to side, stretch out the side waist. And looking slightly forward, walking your feet towards your hands and just having your feet a little bit wider than your hips. Relax the back of the neck, relax the face. If you've got really tight hamstrings, you can bend the knees a lot more, release your back, really shifting the weight forward and back a little bit. Bend the knees super deeply and start to roll up through the spine. Just coming part way. Bring your hands onto your thighs. It's going to take one layer off. Hands onto thighs. Preparing for that standing cat pose. So if your feet feel too wide, too narrow, then adjust them. So the movement is in the spine, the arms stay straight but not locked. And just wiggle your tailbone side to side as if you're swinging it to right and left, 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock. And then tuck and tilt. And start to make the movement a little bit bigger. Inhale, lift the tailbone. Exhale, tuck and around through the upper back. Breathing in, breathing out. In and out. And tuck under, roll all the way up through the spine, coming up to standing. Bringing the feet underneath the hips, so the bony parts here, toes are pointing forward. Just gently shifting the weight forward and back. Make sure you've got your brick close by. I should have said that before. So make sure that's kind of close by for you. And again, just finding that weight on the whole of the foot. Find that point. Inhale. As you exhale, roll the weight inwards. If you're trying to roll the weight onto the inside edge of the feet. Inhale, center. Exhale, roll the weight outwards. Inhale, find that center point. Imagine pressing through your big toe, little toe, inner, outer heel. Not so much that you're clenching the feet, but just so that we've got contact on all four corners. And imagine a hook out of the crown of your head, but it starts at your tailbone. So as you lengthen up, imagine lengthening, make space between the whole spine. So we kind of slouch like that, the vertebrae are pressed together. So imagine lengthening up from the tailbone, up and out the crown of the head. And at the same time as you lengthen up, imagine pressing down into the feet. So inhale, bend the knees a little bit. And as you breathe out, again, imagine pressing the feet down. And at the same time, stretching up. So you can visualize that two-way stretch. And inhale, bend the knees. So exhale, press into the floor, stretch up through the crown of the head. And once more, inhale, bend. And exhale, press and lift. So if you'll lengthen the whole body, open up the arms, palms forward to open up the chest. So we don't want to be squeezing, but we don't want to be slouching either. So you're taking another breath in. As you breathe out, you're going to hinge forward. You can slide your hands down the legs. And if you can't easily reach the floor, then use your brick. And we're going to just kind of start off warming up into the feet a little bit more. So hands on the floor or the brick. So I'm using a brick here. So we're going to inhale, lift those heels. So you're bringing your thighs towards your chest. Then exhale, press down through the heels as if you're trying to press through the floor. So we start to really open up the backs of the knees. Inhale, bend, lift those heels. Then exhale, press the heels down. Breathe in and out. And in and out. Then inhale, lift and looking forward, again for that stretch in the backs of the legs, so you can bring your brick onto the higher setting. And exhale, fold over the legs, almost as if you're trying to bring the forehead to the brick. So inhale, lift, look along the floor, lift those tailbone, exhale, fold. Now once more, inhale, lift, and exhale, fold. Then pressing down into the floor with your hands, whether you're using the brick or not. And we're going to start to take the weight onto the right foot by peeling the left foot off, coming to that kind of flamingo position, coming onto the toe, or if you can, lift that knee up, but try and use your tummy muscles rather than tense your shoulders. And then pop that foot back down. Then exhale, start to peel the other heel off. And if you can, try and lift it up using the tummy muscles. Squeeze the belly button in so you're rounding slightly. And then press that foot down. So as you lift one knee up, press the other foot down into the floor. So you're lifting one knee in and push the other foot down into the floor. Squeeze, hold for a second. And inhale as we're engaging our core muscles as well as the legs. Exhale, peel the foot off. Pull that knee in, press the left foot down into the floor. And pop that foot down. Again, peel the left foot off. Lift that knee up. This time, inhale, bend your standing knee, and exhale, push into the floor. Again, like you're about to leap up into the sky. Inhale, bend, keep the other foot off the floor. Exhale, push the floor away. So we're going to step that foot back and we're going to find a pyramid variation. So the feet at least hip width apart. So as I step back, I now need to bring my hands a bit towards me a little bit. So I'm still using my brick here. And you're just going to take your right thumb and you're going to place it in that hip crease, so just below that hip bone. And you're just going to bend that right knee. Then as you straighten, you're going to pull back. So you're going to pull your thumb back to the wall behind you. So you're lengthening out that side waist. And inhale, bend. Exhale, pull back, a little self-adjustment. Then bring your hands back to your brick or the floor. Inhale, look along the floor. And exhale, fold over that front leg. Keep pressing into that back foot. And inhale, lift, look along the floor. And exhale, fold. Now you might find here that you can do away with your brick and bring your fingertips to the floor. What we're trying to avoid is tensing the neck or shoulders. So just check in with your shoulders here and try and draw the shoulder blades down towards the back of your heart. So we're not tensing. So if that means still using the brick, then do so, because you're better off using the brick and not being tensing. So we want to make space around your neck. So don't be afraid to use the brick still. You can turn it onto its kind of sideways, turn it onto a lower setting. Now pressing firmly into both legs. Imagine lengthening from your tailbone to the crown of your head. And shoulders towards the back of your heart. Take another breath here. Then we're going to come into crane pose. So it's a similar variation to standing splits, but whereas standing splits we aim to fold over the front leg, in crane pose we're kind of like a combination between standing splits and a halfway lift. So you're going to bend your front leg, you're going to bring the hands, again I'm using the brick, just in front of my foot. I'm going to take another breath in. As I breathe out, I'm going to shift the weight onto that front leg, and I'm going to lift the back leg up. So we're aiming to have like a straight line from my crown of my head to the back foot. So whereas standing splits, we're aiming to fold over the leg. In crane, we're kind of in a straightish line. So push into that standing leg, drop the hip, stretch with that big toe, hold. Then bring that foot back underneath your hips. Bend your knees a little bit, bring your elbows to your thighs. Let's have a little stretch of the spine, stretch it out a little bit. So with the elbows on the thighs, we're going to start to straighten the right leg and reach the right arm up to the sky. Open out through the chest. So try and stretch, rotate the arm so there's no tension in the shoulders. You can drop that left hip a little bit more. And then we're going to switch. I'm going to bring the elbow back to the thigh. And we're going to switch sides. So we're creeping the right elbow on the right thigh. Drop that right hip. Straighten the left leg and reach. Left arm up. Again, try and relax the shoulder as much as you can. And release. Come back. Then bring your hands to your brick or the floor. So we're going to take the weight onto the left foot. So we're going to peel the right foot off. Come into that little kind of flamingo position. Inhale, bend the standing knee. Exhale, push the floor away. Again, scooping that knee in. Try not to tense your shoulders. Inhale, bend. Exhale, extend. Again, we're going to step that right foot back and find our pyramid pose on the other side. So again, bring the hands toward you. So if you're using a brick, notice the brick here. I've got more of a flat back position here. So rather than kind of being rounded over, trying to reach the floor, I'm focusing on the alignment of my spine. Then take your left thumb, hook it in your left hip crease. Now bend that left knee a little bit. Exhale as you straighten it. Pull, just literally pull the thumb back. So you're just trying to lengthen that side waist. Inhale, bend. Exhale, stretch. Then bring the hands back. Nice long spine. Inhale, exhale, fold if it feels good to do so. Again, you can bring the fingertips down as long as you're not tensing. So as I brought my hands to the floor, I've just noticed that my shoulders are a little bit heavy around my ears at the minute. So I'm going to go back to using the brick. That's why I say to people, don't do so much because you can. do what feels better. So I want to try and make space. And then when we're upside down, the shoulders end up like this. So we want to try and draw the shoulders down, just as we would when we're standing, so we're not kind of strangling ourselves. So if that means using a brick, then do so. Stretch both legs. Again, tighten up the thigh muscles, tighten up the kneecaps. Another breath in and out. Then we're going to come into that crane pose. So we're going to bring the hands or the brick to the floor, just about a foot's length or a brick's length in front of your front foot. Breathe in as you breathe out. Take off, lift that back leg. So again, focus on a line from your crown of your head. So it's a combination between standing splits, warrior 3, I guess, and flat back position. So you can see kind of how it all links together. Whoops, I'm not doing so well on the side. Yeah, press into all 4 corners of the foot. Woo, you're stood on. See, I have wobbly days as well. Another breath in and out. And bring that foot back in. Again, bend the knees. Come back, find a little bend and straighten. Release any tension in your hips. And take the feet a little bit wider. Lift the heels, bend the knees, and see if you can find a kind of Malasana variation. But we're going to do a little wiggle jiggle side to side. And we're going to take a little walk around the mat or around the room, wherever you're at. So it's all very well doing different poses, but we need to move as well. We need to move the body in different ways that are challenging. So that may be going forward and back. And go round the other way. Then we're going to find ourselves in a sitting position. So find whatever you need. 2. Have a nice tall spine. Now use blocks under your knees as and when you need to. So some days I will use a block of cushion under typically this knee, so my right knee. So if you notice here, there's more of a gap between my right knee and the floor. And some days I can have that position and it feels absolutely fine. Other days it would just feel like I need a little bit of support. So if that's the case, I just pop a cushion underneath, because quite often when we think we're relaxed, sometimes we're not as relaxed as we think we are. And just having something to rest there means that I'm not holding tension. So I'm not feeling it in my hips, not feeling it in my knees. And it means I can maintain that nice tall position. So say some days I'll need a cushion, other days I won't. You never know. So we're just going to start off with our belly pumps. So we're going to breathe in. You're going to hold the breath. You're going to pump the belly. So you're going to pull it in as tight as you can. As you pull in, imagine pulling in your pelvic floor muscles. Imagine pulling in your oblique muscles. So